Hello, listeners of the Art Versations podcast.
Hi, 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 hi. My name is. Hi, 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 hi. My name. Hi. My name is Broadway Classic.
Let's hear it.
Thank you, Chris Levine, for the theme song. Hello, I'm Bri, like the cheese. I hope you all had a good enough week, hopefully, and you're staying home and for the sake of everyone's health, really. I want to give a big thank you to all those working in essential services right now. Your effort is very much appreciated, and I hope everyone is staying sane is the main thing on the plane. I also want to mention that I posted a question on the podcast Instagram at Art Versations Pod. Please follow it if you already haven't. About how we can stay connected as a community, although we are not in person. Feel free to leave a comment below the post. We'll keep the conversation going. That being said, my guest this week is Mario Palumbo. He is a musician and a songwriter, mostly for the band Foreign Moon. I first met Mario when I danced in a music video for him about 2 years ago, so it was really nice to catch up and see how he's doing, and I hope you all enjoy.
Yo, Peter! Like, run up the stairs, like,
Yeah,
what do you
get
think of
over
this?
here! Yeah. Hi, Mario.
Hello.
How
How's it
are
going,
you?
Bri? I'm fantastic. How are you, Bri?
I'm good. I'm actually feeling good today. It's a little cloudy, but it's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up at 3:00, so
Oh, nice.
I am just waking up. I had some breakfast, and breakfast being mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Standard, very
Yeah,
standard for 3:00. Yeah.
Right now, my average bedtime is about 6:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. So you're like nocturnal.
Fully nocturnal.
Yeah.
Like, I work in the service industry, so even when I am working, I still go to bed at like 4 or 5 o'clock because, like, you know, we work until about 3:15 after cleaning up the bar and all that stuff. So by the time you get home, I work in Kensington too, which is a 45-minute commute to my house. So
Oof.
it's great. It's fine. You know, you put in some tunes and, you know, especially after like a busy night of working, like a close on a Friday night where everything is just hectic and stuff, having that like streetcar ride home late at night is kind of time to unwind and cool down.
That's good that you could see it that way, because I feel like a lot of people would be so exhausted coming home. But yeah.
It's not for everyone. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Do you miss working like in the bars? I know it's like a tough job.
I
but,
miss
like,
it so much. I miss
yeah.
it so much. And that's mostly just because I really, really, really enjoy my job.
Mm.
Like, I've had a lot of jobs in Toronto and, you know, some I've liked more than others, but when I got the job over at Trinity Common, it was kind of like, oh, this is like where I want to be, you know, this is where I want to stay. I don't see myself finding another restaurant or another service industry job that I would like move to, you know.
Mm. And I guess it's a good, like, as you're doing music and other things, like it's a good, stable, constant inflow of money kind of thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot more stable. For the first time in my life, I'm like financially stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is insane in itself. I am 24, going on 25 this summer, and I've never been so financially stable. It's finally like, yes, you're an adult now.
Yeah.
You're still waiting tables, but you're an adult.
Yeah, but now at least you don't have to like worry about, you know, having $0 in your bank account. That's good.
Yeah. I can actually see like my debts start to decline a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Nice, you know. I'll never be totally out of debt, but
yeah. Especially after what's going to be happening,
right,
with our government.
Yeah.
Well, let's not talk about that right now.
Anyways. Yeah, let's talk about art. This is Art Versations.
It is Art Versations. You're from Ottawa originally, which is so funny because so am I, right? Like
O-Town Jam Rock.
Yeah, whereabouts in Ottawa?
Well, I've sort of like flip-flopped around a bit, but I mostly identify with like the Nepean area. Like I grew up, like I started when I was 12 and, you know, starting to actually go outside and you know, hang out with people outside of my own house and family and stuff. We lived around Bayshore. So Bayshore Shopping Center was the hood for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I know it well. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that was the spot right there. But yeah, a little bit more just prior to moving to Toronto, I was living just down the street from Algonquin College. So like the Maryville area, Maryville Meadowlands.
Gotcha. Yep.
Total suburbia, but I'm glad it wasn't Canada or Barhaven or Orleans.
Farhaven. Oh, Orleans is not that far.
Barhaven.
I'm an Orleans person, and it's still like very suburban
You
as
went to St.
well.
Matthews, right?
I did go to St. Matthew's High School.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one and only Catholic, or not one and only, but the Catholic school with the uniform.
Yeah. That was definitely the main Catholic school in Ottawa.
Did you go
There was
to?
a couple others.
Did you go to Nepean or Woodruff or?
I went to Woodruff. Yeah.
Okay.
Woodruff
Okay.
High. Yeah.
Mm.
A lot of rugby. Huge rugby program. I didn't play any rugby.
No, you're like,
No.
I'm gonna watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always thought I kind of fit more with the Nepean kids because I don't know, when I started hanging out with them, I was like, man, all the bands, like they're all coming out of Nepean, but there's also a lot of drug usage in Nepean, where Woodruff was a lot more tame. You know, there was definitely the pit, the smoker pit, and you know, everyone would go out and smoke weed and stuff, and weed was like the big thing. But you know, then you'd hang out with some Nepean kids, and they're just like snorting Molly, like,
Oh shit!
crazy rave culture that's going on that I totally dived headfirst into.
Oh man, but it's all fun, you know. Like I think with music too, like use of hallucinogens or anything to like get you going, get you hype.
Yeah.
It creates like a different kind of art, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I pretty much got into drugs just because I was bored of like doing well in school, you know, like I was always a teacher's pet. I wouldn't
You
call
got
myself
bored
a
of being good at school?
I was bored of just being a good person. Like
okay.
I always treated like partying responsibly. Like I, obviously like
As
I
you
had
should.
a fair share of blackouts, but it never made me like a shitty person to hang around. It was just like, I spent so much money on Magic the Gathering cards in grade 9 and 10 that it's time to switch it up a little bit. Let's explore youth and taking advantage of being in high school, because you're only in high school once. You don't want to be stuck in the library the entire time.
Yeah, that, to be honest, that was me. I was always stuck in the library as a high schooler. But I mean, yeah, I'm interested to know, like, because you said there was a lot of bands that came out of Nepean, but in Woodruff, were you in a band or?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that was like, I started playing guitar when I was like 13, 14, but I didn't start playing seriously until I was 15. And then between like when I was 15, 16, that was like grade 10, 11, I was like trying to put bands together. Like I was trying to put something together. So I met some different people and just started talking to like other like-minded music lovers, like just people who dug music. And I was like, all right, like let's jam a little bit. Let's see if we can do something. And the bane of my existence is trying to find a drummer, because no matter what band I'm in, it's always like the search for the drummer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So eventually, I mean, like we went through a whole bunch of lineups. Like it was just like complete coming and going. It was almost just like an open jam to see who would vibe the best. And it ended up settling on a 3-piece. That was me, my friend Matt, and my friend Sam. Sam was on bass, I was on guitar, and Matt was on drums, and we were called One Step Back. Woo! Yeah.
That's where you got your start, though. That's okay.
Yeah, it was good. It was experience, we fucked up a lot.
As you do.
Yeah, I definitely needed to find my voice at that time, because when I listen back to like those old recordings, I'm like, oh my god, like who let me sing?
The cringe starts coming. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cringy, but it was a lot of fun. I remember I was playing like house parties, and we played like Westboro Fest, West Fest.
Actually, I don't know.
Play that one. Yeah, well, it's right in Westboro Village, and it's a lovely little weekend long festival. And yeah, they just set up a bunch of stages throughout the village, and and we were playing to a bunch of like elderly people and a lot of families and a lot of like young folks and very normal normal people. You know how Westboro is. It's very very lovely, um, very lovely pedestrians just enjoying a day, with
And
their
you're just like rocking out
and
with
here
your
we are
two
on a
buddies
stage,
jamming.
and yeah, we're playing fucking Green Day and Led Zeppelin, and,
Nice,
and
nice.
like we covered "Are You Gonna Be My Girl." I remember covering "Holiday" by Green Day, and I remember
Mm-hmm.
the middle part where he said some vulgar words, and just feel like as soon as you said "fuck" or anything, like you'd get at least 3 moms look right at you like,
Oh
you
gosh.
are the devil. What are you doing to my kid?
Yeah. They can't
Why are
handle
you
it.
playing this innocent festival?
No, but that's cool. As like a high school band, you were able to get a gig. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I know how hard it is to like make your start, but I think that's cool. And like you said, like you were able to find your voice, even though you messed up and you probably didn't have like a good chemistry with your bandmates at that time. Like it's where you got your start and you're able to
yeah.
now,
Yeah.
grow from
Oh,
that.
it's totally like, I would not be where I am now if it wasn't for what I did back then. Starting as early as you can and just making a bunch of mistakes, fucking up, and then learning from that. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I can say pretty confidently that my songwriting's gotten a lot better.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do
Yeah.
you find that you like write? What's your writing process like? Do you do it like anytime, or do you have like a little journal, or do you? I don't
Well,
know.
it really depends on like how what I'm inspired by, really. But
Okay.
I mean, when I have like so many notes in my phone, like that little
Mm,
notepad app, that is just full of just like song titles or little phrases or anything that, or even full lyrics for full songs. Like anytime that I'm feeling inspired or I just like have an idea pop in my head, I write it down.
cool.
Yeah. And then I don't know, when I start writing a song, like I'll either come up with like a chord progression for it, or I'll come up with maybe a verse of lyrics. And if I can attach a melody to, like, when you write lyrics out, sometimes you write them to a melody that's already in your
Mm-hmm.
head. So, and that's my favorite way of writing a song, because then you already have a vocal melody in. And I find, sometimes when you have a chord progression and a bunch of words, the hardest part is attaching a vocal melody to the chord progression.
Right, right.
Because there's
Making
so
it
much
sound
you can
natural.
do. That, like, honestly, a lot of my songwriting starts with just lyrics turning into a vocal melody, and then I'll write the chords in the progression to the melody.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a bit of a backwards approach. Sometimes, like, sometimes people have different methods, but that seems to work a lot for me.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works, right? Like I hear about all these stories of like musicians writing like so many different songs, like just because it's so hard to even just get one good song, right? So they
Yeah.
feel like they have to like keep writing, keep finishing songs to figure out like what actually works. It's very much like
Yeah.
a trial and error thing, I think.
It is. Yeah. And not
Yeah.
every song you write, you're going to keep,
Mm.
you don't have to release every single song that you write. But if you're active and you're always thinking creatively and you're always like, what can I do here? Then, things will always start popping out. And as long as you open your mind to allowing that creativity to flow, then you'll find different songs will like even turn in, like you'll come up with a song and it'll turn into another song, like
Right.
I've written a bunch of lyrics that I have ended up like taking full verses or full phrases or even a chorus or even just a word, and putting it into another song and finding that song works better than the other one. So
Okay, like a mix and match, mix and
yeah,
mangle it.
it is. I was watching a documentary on the Rolling Stone, and I believe, I want to say it was John Lennon. Nope, it was Bowie. It was friggin' Bowie.
It's always Bowie.
It's always Bowie. And basically what he does with his lyrics is he writes them all out onto a sheet of paper, and then he cuts them into strips. So he'll take individual words or phrases and just cut them into little strips. So it's just like, it's all separate, and he cuts it with scissors, and then he basically just rearranges them. So, and that's how he writes like a lot of his crazy, that's how he wrote Life on Mars.
Wow. I mean, like genius song and genius lyrics, but the process
Yeah.
of getting there was like is just kind of messy, and that's interesting to me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see like different people like just all of a sudden they have a thing that they've made.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like a logical process of just like, okay, this line and then the next line. Like
Yeah.
it's all over the place sometimes.
Yeah. It's never chronological.
Mm.
No, it's always to and fro. It's always like, you're swimming in a pool of water and you're just grabbing at whatever bubbles of air that you can.
I like that. That's cool.
Well.
So currently you're in Foreign Moon. That's the
Yeah.
band that you're playing in, and you do guitar and vocals?
Yep.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So it's a 5-piece band. And we have 3 guitarists and 3 vocalists, and then a bassist and a drummer. But
Nice.
we never have all 3 guitars on stage at one time, so we're always sort of switching around. And as long as we have like the transitions pretty seamless, then you don't really notice it. But Peter also plays flute for a song, and we're
Nice.
yeah. So we're trying to introduce some other instruments as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, a different sound, I guess, to have a flute with a rock and roll band. I can't even think about.
Yeah. Well,
I've never seen that.
Peter, his huge influence is a lot of like prog rock. So if you listen to like King Crimson and in particular Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson.
Oh, okay, I don't know these people. I'll check them out.
These are like 1970s prog rock bands that are very crazy. Hey, we have the exact same mug.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
I don't have my little handle came off.
Oh yeah, you always get a couple of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's President's Choice. I think it is. It's so funny. But yeah, did you guys write music together, or is there like all 5 of you, or?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Not so much an entire song, but like we'll come up with like different chord progressions, and we'll bring different parts to the band. And sometimes we'll have entire songs written, but sometimes we'll have just like little bits, and someone will ask, what should come next, like let's come up with the next part together.
Cool. That sounds like it'd be really collaborative, and like you can jump out and bounce off ideas from each other.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, the fact that me and Peter live together is kind of niche, because whenever I come up with anything, I'm like, yo, Peter, like, run up the stairs, like,
yeah,
what do you
get
think
over
of
here. Yeah. I figured it out.
Yeah. Oh, literally, like I've had a few eureka moments, and some of them are at like, 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and Peter is just like dead asleep. And I just burst into his room and I'm like, Peter, I got it. It's done.
And you have to like tell him right away, or it's gonna leave you, right? Like,
yeah, well,
especially with melodies and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it always takes time for me to write a song. It never just like comes. I mean, like, yeah, sometimes it just like blurts out. But even when you have a song blurt out, I still want to take some time and tweak it a little bit, change some words, change some progression or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You want it to be good, but you don't want to like analytically create, I guess.
Yeah. Sometimes a song can just like come out and it's just so seamless. But those are honestly the best times when you're not expecting it, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh man, like I was feeling kind of weird before, but now I feel really good.
Yeah, no, totally. I get that. It's like, where did this come from? But I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know so I can like go back and find it again. But
yeah, a lot of it stems from sexual frustration.
Okay.
I think if I haven't gotten laid in a very long time and I start to feel a little bit weird inside, I feel like off, like the world is not balanced anymore.
Then you need that release. I get that.
Yeah, it's sort of a sexual release to write a song. It's almost like, yeah, I created this, it's almost like earthly feeling.
Yes, and no, absolutely. And even like rock music, like for me is very sexy because it's just like it's so raw and like a lot of times very edgy and very like against the grain.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you would feel that, and you want it when you're creating, you want to feel that release.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like, if you're a little bit upset about something, like the best thing to do is just go and crank your amp and just rip and just scream if you want. Like,
yeah.
Just scream utter nonsense until you feel better.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, my mom didn't appreciate that, but
Yeah. You had to let it out somehow.
Yep, exactly.
So during all of this, where you're kind of stuck inside, and luckily you have like at least some studio and obviously instruments to play. But
Mhm.
how are you staying inspired, if at all, like to continue to create?
Oh man, like right now it's harder than ever because usually I get inspired by going to shows. Like
For
that's the
sure, yeah.
number one thing I miss the most about being not in quarantine is like just going to see your friends' bands play. And like the greatest thing, like I was feeling very uninspired when I was living in Ottawa. Like
Mm,
I didn't have a lot of friends that also did music, and even the ones that did, like, they weren't as passionate about it. So I was happy to find a really really strong music community in Toronto when I moved here. I love my friends in Ottawa to bits, but when you're close with a whole group of people from high school and from like younger ages, you have that history, and that is like that locks you into a friendship with them forever. But you, at some point in your life, you go different paths. So
totally, yeah.
everyone is doing their own thing, and you're wondering what is the path for you. And for the longest time I wanted to move to Toronto, and then one day I finally made the move, and no regrets yet. I don't think
Good.
yeah, I don't think if I could go back in time, I wouldn't do anything different.
That's good. Yeah. I understand that. Like, I relate to that as well, because Ottawa, for me, especially with the dance community, it's not as big as it is in Toronto. And you have so many more people that you can be inspired by, and so many more different shows that are happening, right? Like you say,
Yeah.
like you get inspired by watching other things, but if you're not watching things, then it feels a
Yeah.
little bit lost, your
Yeah,
inspiration.
especially
Yeah.
if all you're doing is like watching things like online or like YouTube videos or anything like that, then you're like, oh man, there's something out there, but I can't reach it. It's not like I can see this in real life. It's like I can only see this through a video recording. And
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of like watching. I mean, I watch concerts on YouTube all the time. Like watching full concerts is great, but nothing is more inspiring than actually being there and seeing it on stage, seeing it happen in the flesh. Then as soon as it's done, you go home and you're like, I want to dance, I want to write, I want to
Yeah,
create,
yeah, yeah.
I'll make something. Yeah.
I totally relate to that. Yeah. It's great. Like live performance
Yeah.
is, like it's just so special.
It's an energy that is exciting, and you can grasp it and you can feel it, and it comes out in your sweat, like
Mm.
there's nothing like being in like a crowd at a festival, and just everyone just experiencing this thing together. And like it's a high, you get a high off, just like, even if you're not high, you still get high.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. It's a supplement.
Yeah, especially when it hits home too, and like you're seeing an artist that you've been listening to for a long time, you really connect with, and they play that song that is just like your song.
Mm.
That was me with Read My Mind when I saw the Killers at Blues Fest.
Oh, I love that song. That's a
Yeah.
good
Oh,
one.
that's an old jam of mine. And when they played it, call me a sissy here, but I totally bawled out and cried.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah. That
Get
was
it
the
out.
release you needed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Killers, yeah. Is there any other, like, was there a moment where, you're like jamming out at a concert and you just like felt that sense of community?
I mean, it happens a lot with shows, like with
Cool.
smaller Toronto shows. When I first moved to Toronto, I started doing open mics, and all I would do was open mics, and doing like 3 or 4 a week, just like on the circuit. You see a lot of the same people, and like that's how I got to meet a lot of people that did music in Toronto before I went to Seneca. So I went to Seneca for a music production program at some point, and that created a whole new side of community for me, because I met some people that played in bands, and they showed me a lot more like rock and roll kind of stuff. At the time I was doing open mics, I was listening to a bunch of Fed Sheeran and a whole bunch of folk and singer songwriter sort of stuff, and
Cool.
Ben Howard and Andy McKee and all these all these acoustic guitar players. And doing open mics, you see a lot of singer songwriters just doing really raw like acoustic stuff, and it's great. I was super into that. But when I met Reed from Fadeaways and Shane, my roommate, they basically like got me like so hard back into rock and roll that I was like, I cannot just do the loop pedal and the singer songwriter type stuff. Like I want to play in a rock and roll band. And
you want to have other people backing you up, and
yeah, I want to feel that energy, you know. I want to feel that raw emotion, that grittiness, you know, the having an amp just cranked, and you know, having your buddy rip a fat solo while you're like screaming your lungs out.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. Yeah, I always see like when I watch like Ed Sheeran do his little pedal business, I'm like, he's literally like a one-man band, and it's really interesting how he can layer himself, but it is like in some ways a little bit limiting, right? Like you want other people, you want other instruments, you want.
I found it very limiting, especially like in my songwriting style. Like if you listen to the songs that I released with my solo project turned into a band at some point, but when it was still a solo project, the songs I was writing were all like very 4/4 like time signature, fairly basic as far as like the chord progression goes, and like above all else, like it repeats. Because I was using a loop pedal, I couldn't do like really intricate chord progressions that changed as much as I would have liked, because I mean I had an RC30 that has 2 tracks on it that allows you to layer quite well, and like I could layer my voice too, but it would always be like it would be one chord progression and then I would just layer things on top of that. I wouldn't be able to change the bass at all without like without resetting the loop. Yeah, which Ed Sheeran has totally mastered that whole thing, but he also uses like a station, like a loop station, you know, like
he's got some heavy duty gear there.
Crazy equipment.
Yeah, he like fills the whole stadium. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think going from solo to band, like you definitely understand more and more like what you want to say, and having other people's opinions to bounce off of is really great.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having a second opinion, but you get a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth opinion, depending on how many people are in your band, you know?
For sure. And like, have you guys been writing like as you're in quarantine?
Yeah.
Right now, like working on some stuff? Yeah.
Well, right now I feel like I've been more focused on producing. Like we've been taking this time to record our first 2 singles. So we haven't released anything yet as the band, as Foreign Moon, but we have these 2 songs that are coming together right now. And
exciting.
Yeah, I'm stoked because we've been trying to record for a really long time. Like we've only been a band for about a year and a half. So like we've been playing shows, we've been very active, we've been establishing ourselves to the community and like getting our name out there. People know who we are. But
I saw you guys were like in Ottawa and Montreal, like not just in Toronto too.
We went on a big tour last July, and we went all the way up to the East Coast. So we went up to Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. We stayed on my friend McKinley's farm, and it was very lovely.
That's so cool. Yeah, oh my gosh, wow.
It was definitely one of the best experiences of my entire life. Like
you're taking over the country. Look at that. Wow.
There's nothing like going on tour with your boys.
Did you guys go on a bus?
Oh no, we rented a van.
Okay.
Clarence was her name. She was a very, very dusty old SUV.
Yeah. But she got you around.
she got us through. Yeah, it was a big drive. We actually drove from New Brunswick to Toronto in one go.
Oh my gosh.
On our way back. Yeah. it was a 16-hour drive. And there were only 2 people in the car with a driver's license, so they basically just swapped places and just went back and forth. And we made it. It was a long drive, but we made it. God bless them. They told me next time we go on tour, I have to have my license. So take over.
You got to get that then, I guess.
Yeah, working on it. Yeah.
It's hard right now to do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get anything done right now, but
yeah,
it's good to stay proactive. It's super easy to get lazy with this whole quarantine thing. We've been watching a lot of Netflix, and I'm trying to keep motivated to do stuff. So I'm happy that we have these songs to work on, because whenever I'm sick of being lazy, I can come down and like tweak the mix a little bit. My other roommate Zishan, he's he's doing the producing, the engineering, but he's also teaching me how to do it. So I'm learning a lot about, really getting into the studio and making everything sound really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Going, we rented a bunch of microphones, and we basically recorded everything in here. So for a long time we were thinking, oh, let's go to a proper studio and pay like whatever per hour or per session and get it done like that. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, we have a basement over here with a drum kit and everything we need. And Zishan was like, no, you do not need another studio. You can do everything right here, and you can make it sound like you recorded it at Universal Records.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound, it can sound great just in your home studio, and it'll be a lot cheaper than paying 40 or 50 or more $100 an hour for studio time. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get that part right there, then you're gonna pay a lot of money to have to do it again.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, it's so expensive to make music. So that's cool that you have been able to like set yourself up at home and make it sound good, and that you want it to sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God
That's
bless
dope.
rentals.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
I get that. Cool, man. So yeah, so you're working on your two songs. Is the music going to be coming out like on Spotify, Apple, like everywhere?
Everything.
Kind of thing?
Oh yeah, when it's out,
Cool.
it'll be out.
Amazing.
We're definitely we're gonna record some music videos too for one or both of the songs. So
Dope.
yeah, we've got to get all the promo in line. These will probably be released in June or July. They were originally going to be released earlier than that, like May, but with the quarantine and stuff, I think it's going to slow down the process a little bit. But
For sure, yeah, I understand that.
everybody's got to figure out their own life right now. Everyone's
Mhm.
readjusting to this new lifestyle of staying home all the time and getting done whatever you can without leaving your house.
Mhm. Yeah, like
So
truly working from home.
yeah, I don't believe there's any rush right now. Like the whole world is sort of on hold. Putting
Mhm.
anything out right now. I mean, some of my friends have released stuff and it's been fantastic, and they've gotten a lot of good feedback for that. But at the same time, I'm kind of worried, like, if we release our first songs during quarantine when people are sort of like uncomfortable or freaking out and stuff, then maybe on one hand the music can help and be like, hey, this is helping me get through this, because I've been feeling sort of like alienated, or I've been feeling sort of like alone, and
Mhm.
I need something to bring me back. So that is definitely on one hand. But then on the other hand, you release something and people are so in their own lives. And for me, for one, like I'm taking a lot of time off social media if I can. So I think
Cool.
a lot of other people are doing the same, just because there's so much negative energy and a lot of crap on social media that you want to sort of avoid right now. It's good to keep
Absolutely.
yourself informed for sure, but also, you can't that's how you get into a stir fry.
Mhm.
If you spend too much time being on media and thinking like, oh, should I post something? Like I want to reach out to my friends, but I also, don't want to see all this crap that, is making me lose my mind.
Mhm.
It's just a constant reminder that Corona exists and the world is going to shit, and if we're ever going to be able to recover from it, it raises all these questions. But if you
For sure.
if you turn off your phone for a second and just go out in your backyard if you have it, like spend some time with some fresh air,
Mhm.
if you've got a balcony on your apartment, go out on that, smoke a joint, chill out.
Yeah, like, self-care in a way, like take a second to do less than you usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say like in one hand, on one, what's the phrase? In one case? Is that what I'm trying to say?
On one hand,
On one hand.
yeah, or
And then I
or
think
on the other hand,
on the other hand, right?
yeah,
We'll get to that. On one
yeah.
hand, it's, music can help you, like you say, to get through these tough times. It can provide like a little bit of therapy, a little bit of, contemplation.
It can
But
absolutely be
on the
therapeutic.
other hand, it's like everyone's being on social media, like throwing out what they've been doing, right? Like on this break, I was able to do
Yeah.
this and write this and make this song and teach this class. And it's like, it's a lot. It's like
Yeah.
saturated with so much information than we already
Yeah.
usually have, right? I think it's
Yeah.
cool that you're taking some time off.
Yeah. It's kind of good
Yeah.
to decompress a little bit and just sort of like look at your life, you know, as like a separate entity and be like, okay, so, you know, this is where we're at. This is who I am right now. Nothing is changing. You know, things will go back to normal at some point, but
Yes, they
right now you have a bit of time to reflect on,
will.
you know, some of the things that you have going on, and, you know, start to plan for the future. Like the best thing honestly to do is to not do anything right now, not rush anything, but just plan for when things start to like get back to normal, and, you know, people are able to walk around and go to shows and, you know,
Absolutely.
do normal life things again.
And yeah, like, do you think because you're taking this time to decompress and relax, like, where do you see your music going? Like, do you think there's something different that you've discovered at this point, or
At this point, like we're just producing these songs, you know. This is the focus, you know.
just trying
It's
to
like
get it done?
it's total destiny, and I don't want to say I called this, but like I needed something to force me to sit down and really just record and mix and not worry about like getting caught up in life. Because before the quarantine happened, like I was working full-time hours, you know. There's always like emotional stuff that goes on with like meeting new people, and, you know, like I don't know, if you're trying to get laid or something, then all of a sudden your focus is just like going out and, you know, talking to these people. And, you know, I needed something that grounded me a little bit. And you told me like, hey, Mario, you got to record these songs, because if you don't do it, then no one else will, you know. It's not going to happen. So, and, you know, we rented all of our equipment, and we started doing this before the quarantine happened. And then once it did, then we had all this time to just sit down and focus on it.
Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise in some ways.
It totally is.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're all getting these curb payments of like $2,000 a month, then it's sort of like, it feels like I'm getting paid to record music, which is kind of nice, right?
It is really cool. Yeah. Our government is top notch. Like, I'm so grateful for them right now.
Yeah, for real. There's definitely worse places to live in the world than Canada.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny that you called it, that it was like, because you've been needing this thing. I feel like a lot of people have been just needing time to just relax and cool down. Like, you know, you always hear like, oh, I wish I had more time to do this, or if I had the time, I would do it, you know? So it kind of came at an interesting time. And I'm sure a lot of people are, you know, like losing their minds staying inside, but maybe this is something we all needed to just slow down, do what we need to do. Listen to our
the thing
bodies.
is, the springtime is my least favorite time to slow down. So I mean, I would definitely like to be a lot more active in like doing things and going out and making money and all that stuff. But like I was just starting a new open mic before this all happened, and I got through one open mic that was so successful, and it was at this venue, Handlebar in Kensington. It's called Handlebar, and it's been a venue for a long time, but it just went through new ownership. And and I started doing the booking for the events there. And so I was gearing up, you know, like as March was starting, February was ending, March was starting, I was gearing up for like a really hectic, busy spring. You know, I was like, we're going to be recording the songs, we're going to be playing shows, and as well, I'm going to be hosting an open mic again on Sundays, which I used to host an open mic at another venue that closed down last
so
year.
cool.
It was it was great. It was an amazing experience, and when it closed down, we had a final open mic that was it was reflective, and everybody showed up. It was so busy, it was ram packed, there was so much music, and I also got artists to put up some visual art as well, and some photographers. And it was crazy. It was a blast. And then when the venue closed down, I hadn't really done anything for the open mic. Like I kept going to a couple open mics, but like I definitely felt like I left the community a little bit. And, you know, starting this new open mic at Handlebar was basically my like get back into it, like, you're back on the game, and then I got basically 1 week, because the second week after that, it started. The quarantine hadn't quite happened yet, but
Okay.
it was getting to that level. So a lot of people didn't want to go out, and a lot of places were
Right.
closing too. So we just did like a little 3 hour or 3 or 4 hour open mic, and there was like 5 people in the bar. and at that point I was like, okay, this is real.
The remaining left people.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming, but please
Yeah.
wash your hands and don't touch me.
Yeah.
we were desanitizing the microphone after every person too.
I bet.
It was a bit sketchy.
Yeah, it's funny how so many things have just been like postponed or canceled, and yeah, you were like, oh, you're getting your open mic together, man. That sucks. I'm so sorry. I hope you can find it again, once everything's back.
As long as the venue doesn't close down after this. I'm praying that when things go back to normal, things will actually go back to normal. And I know it's going to take a long time for the world to recover from this.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think our government is helping a lot of small businesses stay afloat, even though they're not making a lot of money right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Instead of letting everything just go under, I feel like they'll be able to do something that will help them stay afloat until people can start buying things again.
Mm-hmm. No, hopefully.
Yeah,
I don't know when it'll be, but
yes, we are right.
Soon.
We are deep in the great unknown right now.
Yeah.
Everyone is just like, I don't know what's going on, man. And everybody has different theories, some crazy conspiracy theories out there.
Oh man, yeah.
But you can believe whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that it's in the news and it's actually happening,
Exactly. Yeah. Only watch CBC and the actual news sources.
Don't trust Fox News.
Yeah. Fake news. It's everywhere.
Fake news, yo. The only thing you can trust is TikTok.
Oh my gosh. I love TikTok. It's so funny. Hilarious. I
haven't gotten into it yet, but
oh yeah.
I think my life is I haven't gotten into it yet, but I think at some point I will, and my life will be changed forever.
You could put some music up on it as well, like
I know
clips and stuff.
A lot of a couple people that I am close with have said that they put things up on TikTok, and they get way more exposure from that than they do from any other social platform. So.
Yeah, YouTube is always great. Like people still go there at least, but it seems interesting because it's such a short clip, right? Like 30 or 60 seconds max. And right now, a lot of young people are on it. So if that's like your demographic, like you could totally reach them easily.
Yeah. And I think like if you're one of those musicians that are putting out live videos right now, like a lot of people are doing live stuff on Instagram and Facebook and all that. Mm-hmm. I think if it's not quite working for you, like I haven't myself tried doing the live video thing, but I think if I did, I would rather do a 1-minute clip and put it on TikTok, because I don't know how many people would be interested in just listening to me playing guitar for a little bit in my room. It
was like just a jam though, some people are interested in that, I think.
Yeah. If I've got my roommates and we're downstairs in the basement, we could definitely hook up like some funky little jams going on. But I don't know, if I were coming from like the viewer's point of view, I would like more of like a short, sweet, like this is it, it's not going to take up a lot of your time, and it could be funny, or it could be just part of a song that you really like, or maybe a song that you wrote that sticks out a little bit, and I don't know, just make like a little TikTok video, be like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah, quick little here's what I do, and then they can go and check out your Facebooks and your YouTubes and stuff like that.
Yeah, if they want to find more, then they can dig a little. They can dig a little deep. They can go to my page, yo.
Yeah. Which I will link all of that stuff at the description of the podcast.
Sweet.
So everyone should definitely check that out, especially if you're going to have music coming out in June and July. Yeah.
Well, we're working on it right now, and it's sounding pretty tasty. So I'm happy to have some of this exposure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Oh my God.
Really
yeah.
appreciate it.
I was thinking, I was like, I need to do I need to start doing some podcasting. I'm like going crazy in my room. So
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you could make time. And obviously, yeah, I think it's
I think it's a
nice to
great
just
thing.
talk about art, right? Like
Yeah.
you perform and you write and you do the thing, but then sometimes I feel like there's a little bit less discussion around it, and
Yeah.
interpretation gets, muffled, and people don't really know what they're watching or what they should be looking out for,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful mess.
Yes, definitely.
You could definitely get lost in it.
Well, is this a good time maybe to bring on your friends and we can talk a little bit more about the band?
Yeah, let me go see if I can grab the boys.
For sure.
And we're back.
Hey,
Ahoy.
there you are. How's it going, bud?
Oh, you know,
Chilling.
pretty chill day. Kind of relaxing after last night.
Yeah.
You're all hungover.
Man, I went outside
much.
for a run, and then when I got back, I was hanging out on my balcony, and I see these guys get out of the car, and Peter opens up the trunk, and there's 2 cases of beer. So it was a good night.
A good night, yeah.
Had a good night.
Well, yeah, I just thought we could talk a little bit more about the band specifically. Peter, what do you do in the band?
That's an interesting question because
Okay.
I play flute and I sing some shit. Can I swear? Wait.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can definitely swear.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I sing and also play guitar. Mainly play guitar, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Nice.
say you're the lead guitarist, if anyone.
sure.
Okay.
We don't really have a ton of titles as far as me and Mario and Bug go.
You're a songwriter, though.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mario was telling me about flute. I think that's such an interesting addition to hear that
Yeah.
layered. Yeah.
We were talking about Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson.
Who was?
singing.
You get
We were.
Well,
you
mostly
and I?
Mario was.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Just
Because we were talking about Jethro
Bri
Tull last night.
hasn't heard a lot of flute that has been introduced in rock and roll. So
There's actually a ton.
That's cool. I
There's,
didn't know that. That's awesome.
It's kind of surprising, but
yeah,
there's a decent amount out there.
yeah.
What do you find it brings to the music?
It's a very light instrument, so every time you hear it, like you really know what it is, unless it's like a piccolo or whatever, which are pretty similar. I don't know. It's just it's really good for the high end, some good melodies and stuff.
We have this
Cool.
one song that has like 3 different tempo changes in it, and it's all over the place. And when we record it, it's gonna be a nightmare, but it's gonna be live off the floor. But the whole thing that basically captures people with it is the flute that Peter whips out at the beginning, because it's a song that starts out with like a very like soft finger picking chord progression and has like that light flute just to like deliver the melody. But
Okay. A
then
little sprinkling of flute.
yeah, then the drums and the bass kick in,
It's
and
like,
like
some
everything
powdered
gets,
sugar, you know?
everything gets really gnarly.
Cool. Wow. And is that one of the songs that you're working on right now, or?
It's not. No, that's
Okay.
that's the one that I'm tentatively waiting for.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it'll
it
be
will appear at some point.
cool. Yeah. I mean, so it's going to come out on Apple and Spotify.
It's gonna come out mostly like we're gonna promote it. Like,
Primarily for MySpace, right?
definitely MySpace. Yeah.
Like,
Well, Bandcamp's great.
Okay.
You can always go with Bandcamp. Maybe we'll put it
Okay.
on SoundCloud. Who knows? Are we gonna put it on SoundCloud? Can't discriminate.
I don't see why we would.
Discriminate.
I don't see like I don't think there's a person out there that, or I'm sure there is actually now that I say that, but I was thinking that has Spotify and SoundCloud and like
And
merges
uses
the two.
both. Oh, there's tons.
I meant
So
the
many.
opposite of that though. Is what sorry, I'm goofballing it right now.
All right, man.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm being
Definitely MySpace.
Okay. Bye, Peter. Oh, he
right.
sounds cool. He sounds like a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, Foreign Moon. What is the title? Where did that come from?
I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey in my room, and
Mm.
believe it or not, I was completely sober.
The one time.
Yeah.
Look at that.
pretty much like a lot of like my creative inspiration comes from like outer space and astronomy and all that stuff,
Cool.
all that crazy philosophical crap that goes with thinking, oh, like, are we the only ones in the universe, or
Mm-hmm.
there more, a whole lot of that going on. So I mean, the idea of full moon is basically like you're imagining yourself on another planet. If we become an interplanetary species, like Elon Musk talks so much about, when you're sitting on Mars and you're looking over at Earth and you see a moon from Earth, then it's not a local moon, it's a foreign moon.
Okay.
It's not our moon, it's somebody else's, and it just puts life into perspective.
Totally. Yeah.
The whole idea is like, take yourself out of your body and imagine you're somewhere else.
That's cool. Yeah. And like the moon, the Earth moon, everyone on Earth understands it and sees it and like knows that that's the thing that connects everyone on Earth.
Yeah.
But then to see something like, I wonder what color a different kind of moon would be.
Yeah. Well, we only have one moon, but
maybe that's a stupid question though, because do all moons like get their light from a specific source? The sun, right?
Yeah. They all.
I just answered my own question.
Except for the silver one, the silver moons. The silver moons produce their own light.
Okay.
I'm messing with you.
You could tell me anything. I'd be like, oh, okay, makes sense. That's so funny.
I've always been a bit of a space geek, so having something space related in the title always makes me feel like, oh, this is something I kind of dig. It's my vibe.
Cool. That's awesome.
Out of the vibe.
Oh man, well, thank you so much for sitting with me. This was really enjoyable.
Awesome. Yeah. Maybe we should just like FaceTime and hang out.
And hang out, yeah. We could definitely do that after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think your perspective on making music is really interesting. And I hope that once all of this is over, you can continue to perform and produce and, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I can't wait to start playing shows again, honestly. I'm just going to shows, but man, I miss being on that stage. Just
for sure. For sure. Okay, well, we're gonna hang up. Well, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause the recording. We can keep talking.
Hey. Oh, amazing.
Thanks,
I'm gonna get another beer. All right.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art Versations podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe, rate, and leave a review to help the podcast grow. As well, follow the podcast on Instagram at ArtVersationsPod. That's ArtVersationspod. You'll find photos of each of my guests so you can match a voice to a face. Let's keep the conversation going. DM me with your own thoughts about art, as I would love to hear them. I'm always up for a good old-fashioned chat. Till next time.